Good morning. It is the last day of September. It's the 30th. This is the Automotive State of the Union. I'm Paul J. Daly, and I have no, not Kyle. Michael Cirillo is in the studio with me today. We're going to talk about EVs and ChatGPT and Ford and GM. But first, we're going to talk about the big launch tomorrow. Yeah. October 1st, 10/1. Maybe if you're on the internet, on LinkedIn or Instagram, you may have seen there's a bit of a crowd assembling around the date 10/1. That is, frankly, it's like very humbling to me.
It is cool getting all the DMs saying, what's happening on 10/1? And I'm like, tune in, baby.
Yeah. I feel like the hype now has just grown so big. I feel like people are expecting something like so monumental, like we're going to shave our beards live.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Glenn Pash was the last one to say that to me. And he said, are you guys shaving your beards? I was like, if we were shaving our beards, we would certainly be talking about it ahead of time to make sure there were a lot more people. Something. And we'd be raising like 5 million for charity. I think that might be my number. I think 5
and $1 million to go into each of our pockets for grief.
For grief, trauma.
We'll have to take a couple weeks off work, guys.
Yeah. The fact that our wives will attack us when we get home because they'll think it's a stranger coming in the house. My kids will cry.
My
kids knew me without a beard.
You know, when I was still new to the beard club, I made a mistake shaving, and it was like one of those like, and I was like, ah, crap. Whole thing came off. I came downstairs. My kids started crying, and my wife looked at me and went, ew. And I've had a beard ever since. So it was like 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, you can't get over that one. My dad had a mustache, like a Tom Selleck Magnum PI mustache growing up. And he shaved it once, and my sisters cried. But we were like, what in the world is this? I know. Well, but that was back in so now they're pictures, they're beardless pictures of me. Kyle posted a beardless picture of himself on LinkedIn yesterday. It was pretty cool. Young Kyle on the Nissan sales point.
Little baby.
I know. But tomorrow, if you would like to be a part of what we're doing, it has nothing to do with shaving our beards, but we're announcing what we're calling Master Plan Phase 2 for the More Than Cars movement. You can go to morethancars.com and sign up for the live stream. We were saying you could sign up to be here live in Syracuse. A number of people are actually flying into Syracuse to be with us. We're going to have really great food. You're going to miss out, but that's fine. So we're going to have the live studio audience, which is going to be a fun little intimate thing over here in Studio A. And we're going to talk about all the things that are happening in the More Than Cars movement, what we've been working on in this kind of off season so that we can establish the movement more deliberately into the ground of this industry so that it can spill out into everything around us. Because, well, I'm telling you, the world and the country are going to know that retail automotive is a place that you really should want to be close to, and everyone gets to be a part of it. So join us, morethancars.com, sign up for the live stream. We will see you tomorrow. Let's talk about some news. Today's the big day with the federal EV $7,500 lease incentive tax credit ending today. GM and Ford are using a very strategic workaround. I knew the car dealers would figure a workaround to extend the benefit for customers and keep EV momentum alive into Q4. To skirt the deadline, both automakers' finance arms, GM Financial and Ford Credit, are pre-acquiring qualifying EVs and making down payments to preserve the lease credit. Wow. GM dealers must sign up by September 30th. Ford required dealer opt-in by September 26th, so that's gone. Ford is sweetening the pot with a $1,000 bonus to dealers for every EV leased under the program by year's end. IRS guidelines allow the credit to apply if the vehicle is, quote, acquired via a written contract and payment, even if it's not delivered until later. So this workaround applies to Cadillac, Chevy, GM EVs, and select Ford EVs like the Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning. Smart move.
One of our favorite pieces of swag is my "No Crisis Can Win" shirt.
Yes.
And that's what this reminds me of. It's like, okay, we'll take this as an opportunity to shine. You can't get us. What was that NBA coach, Doc Stevens? Like, you can't get the guy.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you guys just suffered an abysmal loss. It's like, I don't know. I guess you saw the same thing we saw. You know, like, you can't get the guy. And that's the way I feel about the OEMs. They're like, okay, get rid of it. We got ideas. And they're going to be the ones that look like the heroes in the end.
Well, I mean, what a difference between, like, you think of other EV sellers, like the big ones like Hyundai, right? Toyota. Think of everybody selling like these EV tax credits, but now, like, what a move by Ford and GM Like I mean, maybe the other ones will pull something out of the hat on the 30th, right? Like today, but that's a lot of paperwork and a lot of things to get in motion. So basically it sounds like they are acquiring the lease. They're pre-acquiring lease contracts through these finance arms, putting a down payment on them. So it technically fulfills the IRS requirements. And then they will go ahead and I don't know if it's like transfer or then offer these vehicles, at a certain rate to customers. A little bit financial maneuvery, but it sounds like it's going to work.
Yeah. And can we do some internet sleuthing and identify the actual employee at the OEM that came up with this idea? Because they need to be interviewed.
It's probably an intern, and then the CFO is going to take on right? Some kid was like, ChatGPT. It's like, here are the criteria. Here's the situation. Here is the full copy of the law, and generate some ideas on how we can keep selling EVs, including the tax credit, and comply with the law. And ChatGPT was like, I have an idea. So the intern was like, I have an idea.
Giving the OEM too much credit.
Well, no, I said the intern.
Yes.
I mean, hey, like that's what the kids do, right? The first turn is now ChatGPT. We're going to talk a little bit about ChatGPT in the third story. But while we're still talking about EVs,
stop. Segue
time. With new EV incentives vanishing and prices still sky high, the used electric vehicle market is having a bit of a moment. Once thought of as a luxury only experiment, used EVs are now affordable and both also available. And another little thing, like people want them. That's a thing.
Interesting.
Sales of used EVs jumped 34% through June, and used EV prices have fallen to near parity, with gas cars averaging $34,700 as of August. One buyer snagged a 2024 Mustang Mach-E GT for $33,000, which is 40% off last year's sticker price. 3-year lease returns from 2022 EVs boom are flooding the market. Tech-packed vehicles, these used EVs have a 36-day supply compared to a 42-day supply for ICE vehicles. And in some cases, the used EV is actually cheaper than their gas-powered sibling, like the Toyota BZ4X is cheaper than like the RAV4 by $6,600 on a used car. That makes a massive difference in the payment. Here's Liz Najman of Recurrent. She said, quote, "These are modern cars with all the bells and whistles, and it was just a matter of time."
A while ago, when the whole EV upswing started happening and we offered our commentary on this, we kind of contemplated what it would look like when things shift to the degree that first-time drivers or first-time car buyers,
right,
first vehicle is an EV.
I know.
If your first vehicle is an EV, it is going to be so difficult to go to an ICE vehicle.
I didn't think about that, but an ICE vehicle after you've only driven an EV will feel like archaic, I think.
And by the way, we're starting to experience this. I was just with our pal Glenn Lundy, friend of the show, friend of More Than Cars, and their daughter is now driving. And their plan was like pretty much every other family. They were like, okay, here's the hand-me-down vehicle.
Yeah.
Then they caught wind of an EV deal where
cheap EV lease, right?
Her first vehicle is now an EV,
like a Hyundai Ioniq
Blazer or something like that they were able to pick up for quite inexpensive.
$200 a month.
Here we are. It's just been a few months, Paul, and we're getting indication of first-time drivers' first vehicles being an EV, and I think that this is where we're going to see a real shift.
Man, I'm kind of going through this right now. I have two like personal points on this. Number one, I talked a lot about the F-150 Lightning I bought about 6 months ago, maybe a little more, and the vehicle was $98,000 brand new. I bought it with 23,000 miles on it for $58,000, right? And then my 16-year-old daughter, now she's 16, she's got a permit. Don't grow up too fast. And we have like two vehicles, one's ICE, one's an EV, and she's probably going to learn. I'm hesitant. Like, I don't really want her to learn on the EV because it's like there's a driving mechanic that's different. I think it's harder to go back. EV, you have much more control, much more easy. But if I, so I'm really debating that right now. Like, what do I teach her to drive on? If I teach her on the EV, I'm going to turn off the regenerative braking though, because it's just a way different experience. I never thought of going backwards. If you've only driven an EV and getting an ICE vehicle, you're gonna be like, what is this thing? Why does it respond so slowly? Why do I have less control over it? Actually, it's kind of dangerous because you do have less control over that.
Why do I have to do stuff?
No, when I'm driving the EV and I get into our other car, like I come into stops so hot. Like my wife is like, "Whoa!" It's like, yeah, I'm used to just letting off the gas and having the vehicle automatically start to slow down. And when I don't do that, you come into those red lights and those stop signs pretty hot.
You do that in a nice vehicle and it starts screaming at you because it detects the vehicle in front. What are you doing?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, it's interesting, and I'm a big fan. I think this is the point where we get to find out what the real adoption is once the credit dries up, and it's about to. And I think the EVs are just going to keep on that slow, steady growth curve. And I'm bullish on the EVs.
Man, well, we're talking about shifts. Speaking of other shifts,
okay,
segue.
It's like a 6 out of 10. It's pretty general, but it's good. I mean, we've had way worse segues on the show.
Yeah, mostly from me.
Well, I know I was going to say that, but
I'm but a humble student of the segue.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't have the reps. I mean, we have how many? What show number is this?
1,000 plus. I don't have to do segues.
1,159 shows. You've probably been on like 150 of those.
Yeah, I'm but a wee Padawan.
But a little Padawan learner. All right.
Check this out.
She's all yours.
OpenAI just upgraded ChatGPT from chatbot to checkout lane. With the launch of instant checkout, U.S. users can now buy products directly inside of a conversation, starting with Etsy and soon expanding to over 1 million Shopify merchants. Holy smokes. Users asked for recommendations. For example, running shoes under $100. Tap the buy button, confirm details, and checkout, all without leaving the chat. The feature is powered by the new agentic commerce protocol co-developed with Stripe and built to make AI a native part of the shopping experience. Payments use encrypted, what they call shared payment tokens via Stripe, keeping buyer credentials safe while allowing instant single item purchases. OpenAI earns a small cut from each transaction. Of course they do. You got to pay for the tokes. Etsy shares jumped 16% and Shopify rose 6% following the launch, signaling big market enthusiasm.
I mean, there's so many implications of this. I remember when it was like, wait, I can buy something on my phone. I remember when that moment hit.
Right.
And it was like, now being able to buy something from within chat and recommendation, this disrupts so much of the established system of buying. Number one, Etsy. Props to Etsy for being the first one on this train. I didn't see that one coming. Shopify makes a ton of sense. Single purchase items, which is great. We know people are using ChatGPT as a shopping assistant. But just think of what this does that Amazon products are not on here. Think of the shopping behavior that can switch. Now, Amazon, obviously a juggernaut, and the percentage of people buying, this is going to be a slow adoption curve. But the fact that it's possible now, talk about the money and whatever follows the money and the attention and the purchases. You know what's coming next, everybody. It's the ads, right? What a precursor to sponsored results in shopping now that you can actually transact. A couple complexities with this. I think when people shop on Amazon, I know the reason I do often, even if it's more expensive, is that I know my purchase experience, my credit card's already loaded. I know the return protocol if I want to send something back. And if you're buying off Shopify stores or Etsy, obviously the return protocol is going to be different for everyone. So it gets a little tricky there. Also have questions around like, how do you sign in and buy stuff? Because Etsy, you need a login to buy stuff off Etsy, right? I guess it logs in for you.
Well, yeah. And like you said, return protocol, how do I get in touch with the seller? How do I, do all of those things? There's actually I'm sure they'll figure it out in the future, but there is friction here in the beginning, which is cool. It was easy to buy the thing. Do I still need to then have my Etsy login to go back in, check status, tracking, talk to the seller, do a return?
Yeah, it's just the early phases because you think like right now, if that happened, it'd be easy enough to just click on the link on Etsy and now you're on Etsy's platform and you're buying it right from them, or you're in the Shopify store and you're buying it for them. But without a doubt, this is definitely like the door is now cracked open and there's going to be a lot more development on this front. And, for the auto industry, I think this is another indicator that we're seeing that using ChatGPT to transact on items, not just to research, is actually a part of the future of how things are going to be done. Regardless of the future, I think I'm going to guess 99.5% of dealers are underpaying, like are not giving enough attention to the fact that people are using ChatGPT and AI agents very heavily to research car deals, to hold people accountable. I think that AI is just a major accountability mechanism. It's an accountability reckoning for people who are doing things in a way to try to sneak things past consumer. I think that
Right.
we're in this era. If you're not paying attention to that, evaluating your processes, your offering, your F&I and all that stuff, you're in for a rude awakening if you're not looking at that stuff now.
That's it. Crazy times. Crazy times.
Is our work here done? I think our work here is done for the day. Look, go to morethancars.com. Sign up to join the live stream. Join us here tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, for phase 2 of the master plan for the More Than Cars movement. You should be a part of it. We'll see you tomorrow morning.